one and I'm gonna kill you. Don't believe it, but I'm betting that you will. Stand up, I'll let you live a little bit with the pain that I bring. You know it's only the beginning. Step up, cause you're the next one and I'm gonna kill you. Don't believe it, but I'm betting that you will. Stand up, I'll let you live a little bit with the pain that I bring. You know it's only the beginning.
Wrestling fans, this is your boy, Mr. TEAMBRINGIT, coming from WCC, Wrestling Commentator Central, WCC 24/7 Live. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. ROCKIN REESE, which you can catch him every Wednesday night on YouTube on our WCC network channel. Well, tonight we want to kind of do something a little bit different. And instead of talking about Raw itself, we really want to talk about the current state of the WWE. Now, Reese, before I watched Raw tonight, I went to some of the dirt sheets sites like eWrestling News and NoDQ.com, and it seems like they're saying the same thing I'm saying, basically. I don't know what's going on with the WWE. I don't know if it's their lack of confidence in their talent, or if they just don't like a person and they're just not going to push them. Like, for instance, Standout. Standout, for some apparent reason, I don't know who in the fuck he pissed off, but it seems like they're treating him like a complete joke like every week. Like tonight, he went in the ring dressing up as a ballerina. Last week, he I don't know what the fuck they did last week. I forgot. It's so fucking irrelevant.
That was when he that's when he came out dressed as Lance Stevenson from the Pacers.
Yeah, now that shit was hilarious. But it seems like now he's the Santino. Now, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of crazy because, like I said, Stand-Up got a lot of monster talent, needs to be unleashed, but for some apparent reason, they just not pushing them. Dolph Ziggler, well, we already know his rants on Twitter. Now, this was like a year ago when he was on Twitter and he was, ranting about Cena this and Cena that. Now, I mean, come on now. I mean, Dolph had a point. Cena don't really, in actuality, he don't like pushing nobody. I mean, okay, he pushed, Daniel Bryan, of course, okay. But at the same time, he already knew that this was going to be a short push. He knew that shit. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't give a fuck. But at the same time, like, Cena is the face of the company. Randy Orton can come out in his face every week and say that he's the face of the company or whatever, try to, mislead the WWE audience of like, oh, well, I'm the one that's taking over the show. And in actuality, we know that Cena is the face of the company, and he's going to be the face of the company for a while. Daniel Bryan, I don't like how they treat him. And for you guys that have watched Raw tonight, they stripped him of the belt because he's past his 30 days or whatever. Because I guess when you're injured and you can't compete for they give you at least a 30-day grace period. If you go over that 30 days and you still can't compete, they will strip you of the belt. So it doesn't matter if it's a World Heavyweight Championship. It doesn't matter if the Intercontinental Championship, Tag Team Championship. If you go outside of that 30-day grace period, you will be stripped, like Daniel Bryan was stripped tonight. So now, instead of having the Money in the Bank traditional, they're going to have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, Money in the Bank. So I don't think there's going to be a briefcase this year, because if they are damn sure not talking about it right now. So, so Maurice, well, I mean, what do you think is your thoughts of the current state of the WWE?
You know what? I got to admit that Triple H Stephanie brought this on themselves, because ignorance is one thing, but it's like you're trying to build, you were trying to build Daniel Bryan up for 2 years now, like after that shady-ass loss at WrestleMania 28.
Right.
And then it's like, Yeah, then it's like you put them through these matches, and it's like, you know, and I kind of made a reference to another group. It was like they're going to pretty much turn him into another Edge, and it's like, because you see he's already having neck problems now, and now it's going to be like, don't tell me they're going to have this man have a premature injury or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as that goes, like, I'm personally hoping Brian comes back, because I've seen the man like for a long time, and when I heard he was initially coming to WWE, I was excited for him, because it was like, okay, let's see what he can do. And I was like, to think that from where he was when he first came in and what he's done with that, especially within the last year,
right?
Like ridiculous.
Right, he really came a long way.
Yeah, now for it to come to it, for it to end, well, at least this portion of it to end like this, it was like.
And, you know, my thing is, you know, Reese, Daniel Bryan, when I saw him in NXT, and I think I said this last week, that he is the premier wrestler on Raw. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. You know, now, I didn't really approve of him because, you know what I'm saying, when he first came out, I was like, man, his promos sucked, and they did. But then at the same time, you can't deny his skills in the ring. You just can't deny them. And you'll be a fool to deny them. I mean, because if you do, you are definitely not a wrestling fan. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can, like, say, like, you know, Daniel Bryan is, you know, boring as fuck. Well, all them fans that's chanting yes, 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 beg to differ. You know, Daniel Bryan is here. Daniel Bryan is now. Daniel Bryan is the future. So, you know, I just really think that whoever is, like, continuing to bury Bryan every week and call him a B-plus player, I think is really completely out of order. Now, all of this shit is circled around Triple H, and we both know that. You know, it's just for some apparent reason, Triple H, you know, he wants to bury folks or put them on blast because he wasn't that top guy like Austin, The Rock, or Hulk Hogan. He just feels that, well, you're taking my shine, so fuck all of you. You know, I'm going to, like, if you're not kissing my ass like Randy Orton, you know, hell, yeah, I'm going to bury you. I'm going to talk about you like a dog, like they did him tonight. Simple,
yeah,
you know,
real quick, who just came in just now?
That was Ron. Ron just came in.
Oh no, go ahead, please continue. I'm really intrigued by pretty much what you're about to say.
No, we were just basically, you know, talking about the current state of the WWE. And for all you guys that, you know, want to tune into our shows every Monday night, always you are more than welcome to come on our show. Just dial 559-726-1300. The code to get in is 430034, and remember to hit that pound. So, yeah, Ryan. What we basically are talking about, instead of talking about Raw itself, we really want to get into the current state of the WWE right now. It is, you know, and reading some of the sheets, like I was telling our viewers, that we just feel that the WWE really they're really fucking up. And it's really, and you know, history is repeating itself all over again. This is what happens when you don't use your talent. When you don't use your talent, down the road, you're going to get kicked in the ass when you least expect it. Now, no one thought that Daniel Bryan was going to get injured. They thought that he was this little underdog Superman or whatever, and sometimes it doesn't work like that, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Daniel Bryan went through a lot of shit over the past year. You know what I'm saying? Ever since SummerSlam, they put him in these barbaric matches, handicap matches. Do you think that his injuries was not going to catch up with him? Just like John Cena. John Cena got injured in Madison, Wisconsin. He keep getting injured. You know, every time we turn around, he gets injured. So, you know, why don't you push people like Kofi Kingston or Damian Sandow or, you know, Dolph Ziggler? I'm a proud supporter of Dolph Ziggler because Dolph Ziggler got fucking talent, but they're not pushing them. So if your guys is constantly being injured, what are you going to do? I mean, you can't go back to Undertaker. Undertaker is gone. He's gone. He's done. The streak is over. The Rock, he's in Hollywood. Stone Cold, he got a fucking broken neck. He can't come back. Edge, he's never going to wrestle ever again. So what you going to do? Not quoting Hulk Hogan, of course, but still, yeah.
Oh, no. We're not even going to bring Hulk Hogan back into this shitstorm of a conversation. The very fact that you even sat here and mentioned Hulk Hogan just sat here and just dropped WCC's ratings and intelligence level to about 2.2.
That's how you feel?
No, I mean, basically when it honestly comes down to it, is that WWE is fucked. They know it. They know it. The world knows it, and obviously they haven't figured it out by now. Even the very fact that you have an opportunity to sit here and put some of that younger talent on display for a pay-per-view that pretty much nobody really gives two shits about. They're just enjoying the fact that they're actually having pay-per-views go on in the summer leading up to SummerSlam. And what do you got? All your big main guys are literally sitting back, taking the back seat, seeing if these young guys can step up. And what do you have to show for it? You got Fandango out here prancing around. You got Damian Sandow in a fucking one-man, clear-crusted ladies' undergarment leotard. You got, what else? You have basically Seth Rollins going through this whole new persona phase. Ambrose and Reigns, which obviously is doing some kind of push for it. And then to make it even more interesting, to make things even more interesting, you have John Cena. That's it. I mean, let's see who you have in your little illustrious ladder match so far. You have Cesaro, a talent that people have been wanting to see pushed. You have Alberto Del Rio. Nobody knows how much time Alberto's got left, but they're figuring, if he's threatening to leave, try to make him as happy as possible. Then you got Randy Orton, who pretty much you're saying this guy is so brittle that you don't want to put him in a match with anybody because he might actually, jack up the exact same shoulder he's jacked up about 700 fucking times, even once against The Undertaker and then again against Batista. Who else do you got in this thing that pretty much can...
Sheamus, who was injured in last year's Money in the Bank match. Who
literally was hurt in a Money in the Bank ladder match and has the scar to show it. So when you look at everything that has happened with WWE so far, we have a chance to start showing off this young talent, seeing what they're made of, and seeing what they've got. The young talent has the tools to continue and push it forward. But obviously, the one time where basically somebody sort of sat here and said, why couldn't John Cena have said this sooner? John Cena actually had a valid point. If you want to basically take the reins and take the ball and run with it, prove it. Prove it by stepping up and doing something about it. So WWE is trying to do something, but obviously when you're expecting somebody who literally is hurt to sit here and actually continue that work, look what it did for The Undertaker. He could have had at least another good year or two left in him if they didn't sit here and keep pushing him through the title reigns. Same thing goes for Edge. Same thing went for Cena. Same thing even went for Triple H himself. But no, they're thinking about we basically got to keep selling tickets all the way up through the summers for the major pay-per-views. But now they are, instead of sitting here just taking a page out of, dare I say it, TNA's book, and sitting here trying to limit some of this shit that you keep trying to throw on to people. No, you want to not only make it more of an obscenity, you want to create a whole fucking network that is built upon watching certain talents and certain individuals beat the shit out of themselves night in and night out, and you wonder why by the time WrestleMania comes around, half these guys are already burned out.
Indeed.
Not only that, you could even go one further, like I say, plus you always push a lot of your new talent up so quick. It's like, matter of fact, then if I could kind of like tie in a little of tonight's show, Seth Rollins pretty much said it in his promo. We pretty much ran roughshod through everybody. Where do we go from here? It's like they took Evolution, they took Sheamus, they took Cena, they even took Kane, took Daniel Bryan, even took out The Undertaker. What was there going to be really left for the Shield to do? And it was
nothing.
Like, man,
nothing.
Yeah.
And it seems like how they got broken up. I mean, it It wasn't unexpected. We all knew that, shit was going to be broken up. It was only a matter of time because they ran out of ideas for the most part.
And the worst part about it now is that that all this hype you have going now. Now here we are, about almost a year removed from the Cena versus Daniel Bryan WWE Championship match, and here we are again, close to SummerSlam again, and we have zero of anything going into it. We know most likely, in all likelihood, Daniel Bryan will be back by SummerSlam at the earliest if he's lucky, because neck surgery is nothing to fuck around with. Stone Cold knows this. Edge knows this. I mean, anybody who's ever had a neck injury pretty much knows that you can't jump back into the fray into the fray so damn quickly. But up until that point, who is going to be able to carry those reins and be able to actually run the fucking show when it comes to WWE? Heading into, obviously, Money in the Bank, which ain't really that big of a deal, but in some people's cases, now that you've upped the ante, so to speak, making it for the gold, it may make things interesting. But then again, it all depends on who you put in and decide it's your turn, take the ball, run with it. Let's see what happens.
And that's the problem. And I'm glad you said that, Ron, because Money in the Bank, and I forgot what's the next pay-per-view after that. Is it No Way Out or?
It's
pretty much. Is it? Are they still doing Battleground?
No, Battleground. No, that's in October. If I'm not mistaken.
Switched it.
Yeah, they switched it for
to July.
To July. Oh, okay. So Battleground is in July.
So they have Money in the Bank, and they have Battleground, and they have
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
So here is the problem. The problem is because you are lacking in stars, now you have to turn to your low tier talent. You know what I'm saying? Someone that can at least, try to do something until your Daniel Bryan fully recovers. John Cena, he's never going to really recover because he's injury prone. You know what I'm saying? And Randy Orton is just, in la la land pretty much. He's having a wonderful time because he's wrapped by Triple H's ass. So he can literally get the belt at any time he chooses, and he knows that. John Cena knows that as well. That's why they're not bitching, they're not complaining or whatever, but the fans is pissed the fuck off because for the simple fact that the same two has been on top for the last 10 years. It's time for new breed talent. Now, you put in Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, yes, the fans wanted Daniel Bryan in that spot. But for some apparent reason, every time Daniel Bryan gets to that top, to that brass ring, they take it away from him. Okay?
Chris, you hit the nail on the head. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You can't expect us to say, okay, well, you doing us a favor, but then you take it away from us. You want your reigns to go up to the top like in 1998, 1997, 1999, and so forth. You don't want to just make this just a temporary thing because the fans is going to go on Twitter, they're going to go on Facebook, and they're going to say, WWE, what the fuck are you doing? Are you doing this shit on purpose, or are you doing this shit to piss off the internet fans? Me personally, I have watched the WWE for God knows how long, and I'm sorry, I've never seen it in this kind of state before. It's been a minute since I've seen it in a fucked up state, but this time, this reality era that we're living in, the reality is this: if the WWE don't get their shit together, they're going to pretty much go into a depression state, like our economy, pretty much.
Pretty much the last time I saw WWE in the condition that I was in was, shocking enough, before the Attitude Era actually really arrived, when it was to the point where I was actually looking more forward to watching WCW Monday Nitro than I was actually to watching Monday Night Raw. And this is before, they actually took the chain off of Stone Cold Steve Austin and let him run loose, and when DX was finally cut loose and everything else. But now it's to the point where this reality era has pretty much run its course, and even with the fact of TNA not selling, not actually putting asses in the seats and having to resort to stand in their locale of Florida, they're still at least making a legitimate run, only because of the fact WWE can't seem to actually start. They're pretty much, they call Raw the flagship show, which basically means you start it, you finish it. You're supposed to be the one that leads the charge and sets the tone for all the other wrestling companies out there that have television or pay-per-views for that matter, and all you can do is just regurgitate and keep making people scratch their heads and go, I just wasted 3 hours for this shit? Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, and the WWE, they really need to go back. They really need to go back 2 hours. Because this shit that they pulling, like, every fucking Monday night, I'm starting to regurgitate. I'm so serious. And the problem is that, you know, like I was reading on this dirt sheet earlier, that WWE is truly on cruise control. They don't give a fuck what the fuck. As long as they get their money week in and week out, you know what I'm saying, get by every week or whatever. And, like, fans like me, I'm really starting to, like, really slowly push away from the product. I'm at the point now, I don't even watch SmackDown. I don't even watch Main Event unless it got something to do with the Riots or the Shield. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of bad. But even though these two factions are, like, my favorite, I like to watch them. But I think the problem is they have their favorites, they will push their favorites, and they will keep their favorites at the top. And they saying, like, fuck everybody else. Well, we'll give them a spot. We'll give them, like, you know, somebody like stand out like a ballerina ring, and we'll have him dancing around like a fool and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, like, to the point, like, when you're going to say enough is enough? Let's see some wrestling. Let's see some realism. Let's see something. That's why CM Punk left, and I don't blame CM Punk for leaving the WWE. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, CM Punk has some balls to, like, say, like, you know what, I'm not putting up with this shit. I'm about to leave. You know what I'm saying? I respect CM Punk for that. The way he did it, no, I don't really respect him for doing that. But at the same time, when you just had enough, you just say, man, fuck this shit. I'm done.
Well, it goes back to what you said earlier when it comes to Triple H, and they're like, with some people, he does have personal issues. Because, you know, I'm going to actually use something Hunter often likes to do. You know how he always talks about A-plus players and stuff like that? Well, in Hunter's case, he was more like an F player. F being, in this case, follower. Because go throughout his entire career, when he came in, he was following the clique. And then even with DX, it was like Shawn was the leader, and then he was like a banana until Shawn left. And then, but guess what? When he became leader of DX, wait a minute, guess who was still more relevant than he was? Austin and Rock. Then the two of them are gone, and guess what? Triple H, you're still not the top guy because they were pushing Brock Lesnar. Then when Lesnar leaves, here comes John. And then, of course, when Lesnar leaves, here comes John Cena on top of the picture. Batista on top of the picture. Randy on top of the picture.
And I'm glad you said
about that. The later two were the two that you picked to groom, and they wound up surpassing you.
And that's kind of fucked up how you say it like that, because it is what it is. And that's why, you know, Triple H, you know, week in and week out always saying that he's a B-plus player, you know, saying that, you know, Daniel Bryan's a B-plus player, because he was the same way during his career in the WWE as a active wrestler, quote unquote. Triple H it got something like, got this personal vendetta. Any wrestler that's better than him, he's going to bury. Rock, he tried to bury Rock. He couldn't do that because Rock was too hot. He couldn't bury Stone Cold because Stone Cold was already at the top. Undertaker, he was already a legend. He was already at the top. Mick Foley, he was a legend before he even came in the WWE. So he couldn't really bury anybody. So he had this asphyxiation in his mind. Well, when I get to the top and when I take over this company, that's why he slept with Stephanie, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to get even with all of my enemies or anybody that's buried in me. I'm going to make sure that I bury the fuck out of them. And that's what he's doing right now.
Which is why Evolution was pretty much the way it was back then. I mean, if you look at the way Evolution was, what did you have there? You had Ric Flair, who was pretty much already top dog from start to finish. That will never ever change. Then you had Randy Orton, who pretty much did something that Triple H pretty much to this day still says they can't do, and that's basically be able to sit here and actually compete and beat the late, great Chris Benoit on the main stage for a major championship in WWE. Randy Orton will always have that accomplishment. And it's actually pretty sad because even now, Triple H is, in a way, he's kind of burying Cena because of the fact that Cena will probably have more of a chance of beating Ric Flair's record than Triple H ever will. Because Triple H is, what, 13-time world champion?
13.
Ric Flair,
and John Cena's pushing 14.
16, and John Cena's 14. Randy Orton, I believe, is 11 or 12. It's like right up at that point. And even now, John Cena and Randy Orton are still have at least a couple of years left in them, and they don't really need them. All they need is that nice little moment of opportunity where they could just jump in there and become champions again. And then all of a sudden Triple H is just nothing more than just that bitter boss who's trying to get even with all the guys who had that natural born talent, didn't have to actually marry into the company to solidify themselves as a top dog of the brass. And that's what Triple H looks like right now. It's like a very scorned woman who will do whatever they can to literally stay where they are and be in a comfortability zone that's going to make them going to make them better than everybody else. And they don't care who they have to step on or who they have to push down to get there and stay there, and that's what's going to happen now. I feel bad for Triple H now because of the fact that a man who actually has at least somewhat legitimate talent, who can at least sit here and perform when he's actually on his A game, is slowly but surely. He may have been an A+ wrestler, but right now he's pretty much being a B+ boss, and that's actually a compliment for him because honestly he's been a B+ boss that's delivered a D-rated product.
You know what else is like pretty much I'm gonna like pull Undertaker right here because you know what I really think that, and when the Undertaker said this, if y'all remember their build up to their Hell in a Cell match, Triple H's reaction told the story. When Undertaker said I know it was the problem with you, Hunter, is that Shawn was always better than you. And, like, Triple H's reaction, like, even before he headed back to the ring, it was like whatever everybody else was thinking about saying, Taker just flat came out and said it right there and just put it on blast and out in the public. And it was like Daniel Bryan kind of did the same thing when he did that takeover, like a couple weeks before WrestleMania, and it was like, wow, really, Hunter? It took that to break you?
The truth hurts sometimes, though, when you sit here and you think about it. If you think back to all the times that Triple H and Shawn Michaels were the boys and the clique and the partners and everything else, when they basically were doing the whole DX thing, I mean, you look at it, Shawn Michaels always had that natural charisma to perform, whether as a singles guy or a tag team guy. He pretty much found that success, whereas Triple H almost looks like he's trying to force himself to sound like a badass and like a guy who pretty much is that. I mean, it's like if you guys, I mean, Shawn Michaels called himself the Heartbreak Kid for the duration of his career. Won every major championship in that company that you could ever want to have in a wrestling career. Triple H was second fiddle ever since he came into that company. I mean, it was pretty bad when the valet that he came with actually was more successful in that era of his career than he was, which was almost borderline depressing. And it's pretty bad that now they had to literally find some way to keep him happy. Otherwise, he was going to end up going back to WCW and sitting on his ass while Hulk Hogan and the NWO were pretty much doing their thing. So Undertaker pretty much sitting here saying that Shawn Michaels was better. What was better than Triple H was so fucking legitimate, and it's even legitimate now. And Shawn Michaels hasn't wrestled and gotten ever since he practically retired, to the point where even now, even no matter what Triple H says, no matter how much he sits there and denies it, it's got to stick in him that even with a loss, that Shawn Michaels still can outperform Triple H, beat Triple H in almost every aspect of it. Honestly, if it wasn't for Shawn Michaels, DX probably wouldn't have been as successful as it was, because it damn sure wasn't that damn successful after Shawn pretty much stepped away and took all that time off after he lost to Austin and Boston.
I agree.
Yeah, but now going as far as this Money in the Bank goes, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not trusting how this match is going to go, because Chris and Ron, you both hit the nail on the head when it comes to Orton, so I don't need to add anything else to that.
Right, and see
who's in so far, Del Rio, you've killed him pretty much most of the time when y'all gave him a title.
Yeah.
Sheamus, all except for that one reign he had after he beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 28. Yeah, y'all pretty much just made him one-dimensional during that reign. Had scared to give Cesaro the title, because as talented as he is, I'm like, Paul Heyman's going to make the reign more about Brock Lesnar beating the Undertaker streak or whatever, and yada yada.
That's not entirely true.
All about him.
I mean, this is Paul Heyman. I mean, you look at Paul Heyman's track record when it came to championships. This is the one thing that's probably going to make Paul Heyman smile more than anything else. When he actually has a legitimate resume when it comes to champions. I mean, Brock Lesnar, Rob Van Dam. Brock Lesnar, youngest WWE champion in history. Rob Van Dam only got to hold the first guy to hold the WWE and ECW titles at the exact same damn time. Big Show, the only man to actually be the first man in professional wrestling to hold the world championships of all three majors, WCW, ECW, and WWE. Then you fast forward now, Brock Lesnar just beat Undertaker for the streak, and Cesaro just won this Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which people may have sat there and laughed about, but still propelled Cesaro into that moment. But right now, the question is, heading into Money in the Bank, with Daniel Bryan most likely out till SummerSlam at the earliest, who do you feel comfortable enough putting that strap on and hoping by the grace of God that they can actually do it, that they'll actually be able to go in there and say, I can do this, I can take the torch and run with this thing for as long as you guys need it, short of actually making phone calls to either CM Punk or Chris Jericho, or just digging up somebody who literally, for a fact, can carry the company with Daniel Bryan being absent. Because obviously the story shot to shit with Bryan's surgery anyway.
And out of those four, like I said, the only one I would really trust would be Cesaro, because, like I said, you already killed Del Rio and Sheamus with the title. Orton's been had it enough already. And not to mention, Sheamus, as I brought up earlier, got injured in last year's Money in the Bank and will miss the rest of the year.
So I guess
whoever else comes in, I don't know.
So I guess the mystery three. So you got to put John Cena in one of the slots, because Boston is his hometown, of course. So, of course, you got to put him in that slot. They're going to do something to put him in that slot. That next slot is going to be probably Bray Wyatt, probably, I'm assuming, because you gotta put him somewhere on that card, because he's a high heel, so you gotta put him on there as well. That third one is gonna be tricky. is going to really be tricky because you can either go back with Dolph Ziggler or you can go with Kofi Kingston. You have to have a coon to be jumping off ladders or whatever. I mean, you got to have that highlight reel to keep the fans going or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? It's going to either be Dolph Ziggler or it's going to be Kofi Kingston on that last slot.
Or if you want, let's forget the newest addition to Team Triple H. Don't forget Seth. I doubt they're gonna have Ambrose go up in there. Ambrose or Rollins going because I think they're trying to slate the two of them to go at each other.
I think that's like oil and water. I wouldn't do that.
I think that they will actually have a match set up at Money in the Bank for Ambrose to take on Rollins. I think that will be probably the best case scenario when it comes to Seth Rollins, because you don't want to sit here and actually have Rollins have this nice little heel turn and then turn around and say, well, I'm going to throw him in there with Randy Orton, and then you're going to tell Rollins to just make sure that Orton gets up there and gets the job done, do what's best for business and blah, blah. Yeah, that storyline may sound great on paper, but at the same time, when you look at it, if you put Rollins in there, in all likelihood, you're almost expecting Ambrose and Reigns to come in there and get some retaliation going in there. You have that. If you're going to sit here and actually make this match legitimate, I wouldn't even say put in a high flyer unless you know for a fact that he actually can put on a good show with a world championship on. This was just basically for the briefcase, whole different story. But if it's for the actual title that pretty much somebody's going to have to hold for 2.5 months, definitely get someone in there that can get the job done and still be construed as a high flyer, but at least can be placed as somebody who was a legitimate contender to the championship.
Yeah, because like I said, you can't put Kofi Kingston in every fucking ladder match or whatever and doing some high flying shit like what he be doing at the Royal Rumble or whatever, doing something spectacular, but then doesn't end up winning the match itself. You know what I'm saying? This WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, people need to really understand. You are only 2 months away from SummerSlam, so there's going to be a storyline in between then, Battleground, and SummerSlam, and that's when somewhere Daniel Bryan is going to come in. But like I said, his injury is pretty much unknown right now. We just know that he's more worse than we thought he was going to be. You know what I'm saying? We thought that he was going to come back and he was going to, come back by the, Money in the Bank. But like I said, when you talk about neck injuries are not that good at all. So we talking about 6 months to a year probably, depending on how bad it is. But pretty much, I just think that something really needs. They need a star. They need an outbreaking star to come out, win that championship match, carry all the way to SummerSlam, and let Daniel Bryan get it and resume his reign. I think that would be best.
I think that would honestly make things a lot easier because of the fact that if you literally find a way to prevent Daniel Bryan from being WWE World Heavyweight Champion pretty much any time in 2014 when he does return, you're basically sitting here saying that you obviously did not have faith that Daniel Bryan could carry this company.
Exactly.
It was basically a repeat of last year, and you don't want to sit here and go completely too far backwards. You already did it once with John Cena with his elbow surgery, and he was more than happy to at least sit here and at least not relinquish the title, but at least drop it. But at this very point, a couple of pay-per-views later, now all of a sudden Daniel Bryan's not good enough to actually hoist this crown up. Sorry, thanks for no thanks. Not going to happen.
Right. And like how they was just continuously burying him tonight, I didn't approve of that. I didn't like it. Even if it's like part of the storyline or not, Daniel Bryan worked his ass off to get to the top of that WWE, and it's not easy to get to the top because you got to get past Cena, you got to get past Sheamus, you got to get past Randy Orton, of course you got to get past Triple H and Stephanie, of course. So it's a lot of obstacles getting up to that top and calling yourself a world heavyweight champion. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said, like, they should really treat Daniel Bryan a little bit better than that instead of, like, burying the fuck out of him and calling him a B-plus player. I don't like that shit.
I mean, and if they honestly want to continue that, I mean, maybe they don't really know what it's actually like to basically have this opportunity on their hands. Is that right now? You've been wanting people to sit here and just push talent and push talent and push talent and push talent. That's what fans have been saying. They've been like clamoring nonstop to basically have them push talent. But once they started pushing the talent, then people could give their own personal opinions on it. Obviously, people have been good with the whole Adam Rose thing. They're still trying to get on with the whole Bo Dallas thing, and they've obviously embraced Paige as Divas champion. She's definitely held her own, even in a division that's already lacking as far as basically legitimate female talent. But now you're getting to that point where you kind of want to just bounce around and try to find someone who basically could be able to carry the reins. If you're going to basically do that, you might as well just get Rusev in there just to sit here and have him continue fucking dominance. But even then, you don't have anybody else who can actually take the reins without it being Orton, Cena, Bryan. I mean, Batista's gone, so that's out. Sort of actually having Triple H jump into this damn match. You ain't really got anybody.
They need to bring in AJ Styles.
No, and I'm going to tell you that, Kim, that I thought about that, about AJ Styles, but AJ Styles is not coming nowhere near the WWE because he's afraid of what's going to happen to him, just like Daniel Bryan. Anybody that came from a company or, in this case, ROH, yes, I'm sorry, can't get it out. Anybody that came from Ring of Honor, pretty much, Triple H is going to bury. And I don't think AJ Styles know that. Matter of fact, he don't even like Triple H at all. He don't like Triple H at all anyway. He even made a shoot against Triple H about him burying people, how he don't give a fuck about people, and I think he did this about some years ago or whatever. But yeah, he's not going nowhere near the WWE, and I don't blame him.
Yeah,
do you think they're gonna get it after
just like Vince? Because just like Vince used to do with the NWA and WCW, it's like, oh yeah, if you was established there, or if you were like something there, it was like, yeah, they're gonna bury you when you come to WWE. Look at what he did.
Like they did Booker T when he came from WCW.
Exactly, and and as soon as he came back from, when he came from WCW, they took the belt off of him 2 months later from The Rock, because The Rock came back from Hollywood from his 4-month, absence or whatever, and they took that belt away from Booker T just like that, and didn't get it back for like two years later.
Yep.
So
it was like and it was like even if Booker T sat here and bit his time and waited for all this madness to ensue once he made that transition from WCW to WWE, he sat here. He was that good guy. He didn't complain, didn't bitch. And then when he finally became world champion WWE, what happens? Batista comes back, and all of a sudden, Batista is apparently champion all of a sudden, and then Booker T's relegated to being nothing more than an afterthought by the time Triple H.
And I didn't get that. I didn't get that about Batista, about him winning the Royal Rumble. I think that was a waste. That was a complete waste. Like, his whole return was just a failure.
He came in, he won the Royal Rumble, he stayed for a little bit, he reunited with Evolution, and then he left. Like, what the fuck for?
Yeah, like, what was the whole point of you coming back? You didn't accomplish shit.
They just wasted their money on Batista.
Exactly. You came back in some damn skinny jeans. Then you looking like Leonardo from
skinny jeans. Then he came back with some blue shit.
Like, what the fuck? You coming back looking like a Ninja Turtle, and then you got an ear pierced on your fucking nose? I mean, this is your improvement? I mean, come on, motherfucker. You go date on Twitter and kept bitching.
And look what happens. As soon as all that madness hit the fan, when they had the chance to sit here and push that younger talent at the beginning of the year, look what happened. They decided, no, we're going to give I mean, that was bullshit. It was like one of those things where it was like, okay, so this and that, so this happened, then this happened, then this happened, but you still had a chance to actually do something. You had a chance to do something big and monumental, which is basically promote that younger talent. And instead of promoting that younger talent, you decided to just give it to somebody who just really didn't give a damn about the company. He's just like, as long as you guys are paying, he basically, his words were, fuck you, pay me. I don't give a shit what the hell happens afterwards. As long as I'm the one in the spotlight, I'm the one getting all the title shots. I'm the one that's one that pretty much is main event and everything. You had a shot to do it. You failed miserably, and now you have to spend at least the next year paying for it. Because you took something monumental like WrestleMania 30, opened it up with a bang with Hogan, Rock, and Austin, and then you send it all the way into the middle of shit by putting Batista in the main event against Randy Orton. But then you threw Daniel Bryan in there and said, okay, well, we're going to do something good. But at the same time, since Triple H basically is, A plus crybaby, we're going to sit here and just make it even more interesting.
That's hilarious. So
go
ahead.
Who they gonna push? I mean, since Cesaro, they got Cesaro in it, they gonna push Cesaro to be champ?
Well, shit. I don't know how to really answer that question because every time that you think that they're gonna push Cesaro, they bury him again. You know what I'm saying? Just like, Bad News Barrett. I like how he came out and he did that promo. I don't know if that was towards Sheamus though, but he talking about, you know what, when I raise up to the top, you're never going to like push me down or whatever, or something he said that just really like, I said, oh wow, he's taking shots. I wonder who that was toward. I don't know if that was towards Sheamus or if that was towards Cena. I don't know. But he basically said in so many words, while he was at the bottom, someone was trying to keep him there at the bottom. And, when he was trying to rise up, they was trying to still push him down. You know what I'm saying? They need shit like that. They need more realism, like letting us know what's going on behind the scenes of the WWE. You know what I'm saying? We need to hear from your mouth.
You actually don't remember that was actually a low shot towards Cena because of remember a while back when they had that little group known as the Nexus and they put John Cena back in there, and then John Cena was, he beat him in that chair match, and then all of a sudden we'll fast forward like a few months later, he was in an Elimination Chamber type match for a title shot or for a championship, jacked up his elbow and then was on the shelf. The last persons before that chamber that he pretty much was in this embroil battle with was basically John Cena and CM Punk, because CM Punk had that whole new Nexus thing going.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much right after all of that happened, so pretty much if it came down to it, I mean, he pretty much could have been going anybody. It's like pick your poison. It's like he could have been talking about Orton. He could have been talking about Cena, but when Cena, he could have even been talking about CM Punk, because after CM Punk lost that title, he never really got a shot at it again, and he never really got back up from it. He basically went from a main event status to maybe mid card, maybe prior to main event, somewhere along there, and now you got John Cena, who is relegated to tag team matches and storylines with the Wyatts, whereas a year ago he was fighting for the WWE Championship against The Rock and Daniel Bryan, and CM Punk on top of that. So I mean, that could have gone either way. And I mean, Dolph Ziggler pretty much said it on Friday. Wade Barrett said it tonight. When it comes down to it, you're absolutely right. The superstars need to start sitting here incorporating some more of their own personal feelings towards these storylines about saying deliver a complete and total 10, 15-minute pipe bomb like CM Punk, but at least do something that's going to actually make it sound like, hey, you know what? I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off right now. I want to vent before I go in here and have to job to these younger talents and build them up while you're putting me down and putting this little secondary championship on when the one I want is dangling above my head like a fucking carrot.
Right. And then that's what some of these stars need to really do. They need to really, come out, vent, you know what I'm saying? If you really want to get noticed, you need to, really show people, show these fans, who you really are. Because CM Punk became a celebrity overnight, literally. After that pipe bomb in Las Vegas, I'm like, goddamn. Even people that don't even watch wrestling was talking about that shit the next day. Like, did you hear what CM Punk even said? I said, no, you don't even watch wrestling. How the fuck did you know? Well, my friend told me this and blah, 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 and all this shit. So I think it is basically we're living in the LeBron era pretty much. The era of crybabies, I would say. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just want everything handed to them, and it doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Now, you might be a mama's boy or whatever, and your mom probably gave everything to you, but come on now, you're in the real world now. Not everything is going to be handed to you. You need to, learn to, like, you know what I'm saying, if there's a door in front of you, you need to knock that bitch down. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. There might be opportunity behind that door. You know what I'm saying? And this is just like, my thing is, what pisses me off about this talent today, they just feel that they could just, say, okay, you can dress me up as a ballerina today and I might get my title shot tomorrow. No. The reason why they treat you like a ballerina is because they don't give a fuck about you, because you're not opening up your fucking mouth. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, and then again, you know what else?
They won't get the boot, though.
Yeah, then again, you know what else did it? It's because when Damian Sandow, when he wasn't registering, like, between the Rhodes Scholars and everything else, it was like, pretty much when he lost his Money in the Bank, that was when he, that's when he just started heading south, man. That was like, I don't know, it's just like one of these things where these guys, like, first opportunity they get, and then it's like, what happens, or why are they not registered? Because it's like Fandango. Remember how he came in? He was just like, everybody was doing the theme song, and then a month later, they pulled the plug.
Yeah, they was like, they was talking about him on iTunes, saying that his iTunes songs is going off the charts. Then the next thing you know, he falls up to obscurity. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, and that's what it seems like with the talent. You're hot 1 minute, you're cold the next. You're hot 1 minute, you're cold the next. You're cold, you're hot, you're cold. I mean, it just
it's a static hurt.
A lot of times I blame the writers.
I don't know.
I mean, when we sit here and we look at it, let's go back to when Dolph Ziggler cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase the night after WrestleMania, became world champion. Big pop for that twisted crowd in Jersey and everything else, and everything was all right with the world because they sat here and figured, they were going to actually finally get a actual feud between two guys who could actually wrestle, whereas they would have had to settle for a guy who can't and a guy who can. Mm-hmm. And everything was again right with the world, but then it didn't happen. Then it went bye because Dolph Ziggler got the concussion, never completely recovered, got that recovery, never got back into that world title picture. He just kept getting buried after he pretty much had to drop that damn title.
Mm-hmm. And the same for Sandow. Sandow, I would say, out of the Money in the Bank winners, with the exception of Mr. Kennedy, I think Damian was pretty much like really felt the brunt of that. I mean, for real. Like, not only he lost his credibility as a heel, but he lost it completely. I mean, like, seriously, he never recovered after that.
He's reduced to being another Santino.
That's what I said before you came on too. Exactly.
It is like that.
I mean, it is like that.
Like literally. Like Magneto, then he's coming out there doing little basketball skits and shit. Like, really? He's doing like Santino's doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I agree. I said that shit right. But I'm glad there was another person that noticed that he is another Santino.
Though. Because he was coming out there and he was like I thought he was going to be a good top heel, but after that Money in the Bank shit, he just
after that briefcase thing, that was it. I mean, it got like so bad that pretty much between, at least in Santino's case, Santino at least had himself some some credibility as a champion, as an intercontinental champion. But Sandow never got the pleasure of actually hoisting up a title, and yet for some reason you had to sit there, and when you turn on the Raw, you see Damian Sandow, who was a Money in the Bank briefcase winner from last year, sitting here prancing around doing spiritual dancing as well as. And then you see Zack Ryder, who for some reason still has a fucking job, and it's actually to the point now where I think we said it right before WrestleMania, even right at the Royal Rumble, that if WWE doesn't do something that like shakes things up a little bit, the Seth Rollins thing is a good start, but you got to capitalize on it. You got to keep pushing. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing the same shit out of Bray Wyatt that we saw. Ever since he showed up, nothing's different. Nothing's changed on it except for the fact that his hair is a little longer, he's got another tattoo, or he raided Jimmy Buffett's fucking closet again. Either way,
right.
Give us something that will keep the fans going. Because right now, those fans, the only thing that kept the fans intrigued is the one thing that fans were complaining about before, and that's the divas because of the crazy psychopath known as Alicia Fox.
Yeah, I'm not Damian Sandow, but Bray Wyatt, he really outdid himself. He really shot the fuck out of me over the last year. He really has. But now he's at the standstill, and that might be a little problem for him going forward. His only route is really to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That's his only route. The other way is going down the drain, like completely, because now because I guess he was talking about a potential face turn, and I don't think he should do that. I think he should still stay a heel because he's one of the hottest heels right now. If he turns to be a face, that might prove disastrous for him.
Because you need a legitimate actual face that actually has built up the credibility of being a face. You can't just expect these new kids to come dropping on in here and just pulling, the Kurt Angle thing or the triple or the Hunter Helmsley thing, or for that matter, the cocky Randy Orton thing that he had to come back from after the shoulder thing, or even the Brock Lesnar thing when he was first being introduced. You got to have somebody who at least can sell that whole heel persona and still be able to put asses in the seats, because people are still in some way still buying him as that heel and buying into him being that uber heel. And in a company where heels are coming few and far in between that can actually hold their own and step up, Bray Wyatt is what you got, because Seth Rollins is not ready. Randy Orton is on borrowed time, and Rusev is not there yet.
Yeah, and Seth Rollins,
Lana working for him.
And I would say Seth Rollins is I would call him the pet project for Triple H. And the reason why I say that is because Seth Rollins need a lot of work with his promos. He need a lot of work. Now, he brung it tonight, he really did, but he's not Dean Ambrose. I would say that. He's nowhere near him. Dean Ambrose, I'm serious, is going to be a superior heel down the road. He is. I already see that now, because I already see the X factor in him already. Just by him talking. That promo he did was sadistic as fuck. I mean, the way he was looking in that camera, I was like, God damn, it's like he's looking at my soul.
I'll be honest with you.
And I was expecting him
Ambrose
to be the one that turned on the
any point, because I was like, there was some stuff he wanted to say, but I was like, he held back a little bit, because it was like, oh, wait a minute, this is live TV.
I really expected him to turn on the Shield first and Robin, so that's what I was waiting on.
And me too. It's just the thing is, like, out of the Shield, who needs help the most? And it's Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins needs to go back to promo school, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can tell in his promos, he always take that long-ass pause. Him and Roman Reigns got that shit bad. They always take them long-ass pauses, like, in the middle of their promos, like they don't know what to say next. You know what I'm saying? People don't, some wrestlers don't got that, that witty, that wit where they can just, stuff can just naturally flow out their mouth. You know what I'm saying? They just need a little bit of help, and Seth Rollins, I don't know. I don't think he's comfortable as a heel, to be honest with you. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he is either, but I'll tell you somebody, and like I said, here's another person who's been surprising me, and I said this last week, and tonight he even outdid it, is Luke Harper. And I have to admit, I got to admit, for the first time, now, granted, last week, Bray Wyatt wasn't on the show, but tonight he was, and I was like, for the first time, I actually saw Luke Harper actually out-promo Bray Wyatt, and that's something I never thought I would say. But,
well, I mean, Luke Harper been improving like week after week after week. I mean, this is another heel that's really impressing me like week after week. His athleticism, his promo skills, his the way he flows on the mic or whatever, and that sadistic style that he has, brilliant. And you wouldn't even, and when you look at him, you'd be like, I don't think so. But then when he talks, golden. So
yeah, and the thing is, like, it's just like that saying, don't judge a book by its cover, because Harper, I had to admit, like, he's really been one of those guys where you have a real diamond in the rough, and it's like WWE, you can, like, and if you hang with Harper outside of his character, like, try and figure out, okay, what can we do to put the real you into, like, a character, so, like, when you progress, it's like, wait a minute, now this is sounding like, now it's like, oh, I can't tell if he's being a character or if he's being himself, because it's like, when you hear it, it's like legitimate.
Similar to the Undertaker.
Yeah, to a point.
Now, I never seen Undertaker like outside character or whatever, but I mean, from what I was told, he's pretty cool or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he does that. I don't know. But anybody else want to like share their comments before we adjourn tonight?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the only thing I can really say now is, like, WWE, you're going to have your work cut out for you this summer, because, and I know I'm going to jump ahead of Chris's favorite thing, but that he usually says around summertime, but y'all got to remember, NFL season ain't that far away.
I'm just mad. I'm mad Chris said that man be taking a presidential pause.
Oh, wow. Well, shit, which one? Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins? Motherfucker, they take some long-ass, like, pauses, dude. Like, it's just like...
What's going on?
I'm like...
I really wish you didn't say presidential right now, because now I got that damn image of the Obama workout video that Lana played.
Right.
What really happened was...
like, motherfucker, get it out, shit. Get it out.
That's just like that took all the fun out of it. Just having Lana just like flash her ass at everybody. I mean, that just took all the fun out of it.
Look, I wasn't trying to be technical. I'm just saying, I'm calling it the way it is. Just saying. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for coming on the show. Viewers, look, WCC 24/7 live. This is the only place on YouTube that you will find unlimited, unedited, uncensored wrestling talk from anywhere else. You will find it here on our station. Because what we trying to do for you fans, we trying to keep the shit real with you. We ain't here to talk about, the statistics or whatever. We want to talk about actual facts. The shit that we are seeing, day in and day out with the wrestling company we call the WWE, the E in the WWE pretty much. And which is really failing every fucking week pretty much. I'm just saying. So, if you want to tune in, you know, you want to check out our, you know, past, present, and future shows, just remember to subscribe to this channel, WCC 24/7 Live. And I am your host, Mr. TEAMBRINGIT. That's my co-host, Mr. ROCKIN REESE. And we will see y'all.
Everybody.
And we will see y'all next Monday night. Same channel, same wrestling channel. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, fuck it. Good night.
There was another.
Yeah.